Hello, my beautiful friends. I'm like the video making machine tonight. I had a magical mail, I had a subscription box, and now I want to talk about some apps that I downloaded in my investigation of paranormal investigations. So I've been working on my article, and I had some edits to do, some more research to do, so I'm doing that. And so I had downloaded a bunch of the apps that they had used. And so I want to share them with you in case you're interested in this stuff, because I'm going to, full disclosure, I know nothing about this stuff. So if you're a person who's just kind of, casually interested in paranormal, and you want to go on a thing, or you want to do a thing, like that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not an expert. I don't really know anything. I had some rules in the downloading of these apps. I wasn't willing to pay more than $5 for any app, so there are professional licenses for all of these. Where you can pay $19.99. I'm not there. So and I have an iPhone, so these are ones that work on an iPhone. And the first one we're going to talk about is Spirit Talker, which looks like this. Now, they use this, probably, this I had to pay $5 for. They probably use a fancier version of this, I'm not sure, in the thing that I went to. But essentially what you do is you press this button, and then you lay this down, and then you ask questions, and then this responds. So to test it, I turned it on, and I just left it go, and I didn't ask any questions. And every so often, a random word would pop up, like Hazel or William. And, I don't know, it just seems like one of the things that Bangarang, the hiker that was with me, she's a programmer also, and we were really interested in how these things were programmed. Is it programmed with a randomizer in it so that every so many minutes or seconds or whatever, it's spitting out a word, and it just happens to coincide with whatever you might be asking. So we're going to try it together right now. So this is Spirit Talker. It's $4.99 on the App Store. You press the green button. We're going to ask it a question. Is anybody here? There's this little red dot that goes up and down. For those of you old enough, it reminds me of Pong, the Atari Pong, first video game that any of us had in the 1980s. So you kind of just hold it and you wait for it to say a word. Is anybody here with me? Anybody want to talk to me? Anything to say? Now, I've said this before, my house has nothing in it, so I don't feel anything here. And I will say that these apps don't really connect with the spirit world that I'm most connected with, which is the light and love. I think this is a different plane of existence that paranormal activity operates on. I don't think our spirit guides are on this plane. I don't think, like my family that's across the veil, I don't think they're on this plane that these devices work with. These are devices specifically to connect to people who are stuck between the human world and spirit world. Oh, here we go. Viking. There's a Viking among us. I have Viking DNA. So, are you a relative of mine? Are you one of my ancestors? So you kind of wait. I have to say that I've seen this used on the different ghost hunter shows and part of my research. I've watched some of the shows, and it seems to work a lot better with them than it does with me. So, I don't know. We're going to wait just a few more minutes and see if anything comes out. If there's a Viking, are you a member of my family? Are you one of my ancestors? Just a random Viking hanging out in Palmerton. So far, getting nothing. Mesmerized by the little red dot. Concerned. Are you concerned about me? Are you concerned about Vikings? Concerned about this research? What are you concerned about? So I'll have to set a timer and see if the intervals are, if it's a randomizer on a loop with timings. So we'll see. So far I haven't found this to be all that reliable. If you've used it and it's worked for you, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. All right, so the next app we have is called GhostTube SLS. This is what it looks like. And basically what you do is you hold it up, and my son is standing here. And what it does is, and I can't show this to you, or maybe I can take a screenshot of it. I can take a screenshot, and you can see that it kind of outlines, it's not showing you well. It outlines his body in any kind of bodies. And when we were in the basement, they used a fancier version of this, probably a proprietary, like, expanded license. And basically what it does is it outlines any human forms. So I will say that at one point, and I don't know how they did this, we were kind of all standing in a horseshoe shape, and the camera was pointed toward a door where there was no human standing, there was nobody in the room, and it had outlined a human figure, and it was asking it questions, and the arm was going up and down for yes and no. So that was in shadows, in the basement where shadow was. So, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, like, that kind of seemed interesting. That was interesting, and on some of the ghost hunter shows, you know, that this has been used, and you know, that was interesting. So I don't know, I'd have to use that in a place where there was, you know, haunted activity and see if I got anything. The next app is something called Hope Spirit Box. You're not seeing, I can probably see it better. And pretty much you just you pick an audio bank, so pick mixed-aged female, middle-aged female. You give it a noise gate, like how much, you know, noise you're going to want to allow. And then you can put the reverb on, and then you ask questions. And what they did is they either had this open, and then you could hear it. I have to make sure my audio's on, because I forget to do that. Or they had somebody in a corner wearing a headset, and only they could hear, and they would interpret. So, it usually comes up with this garbly stuff. And then you can turn the reverb on, which was annoying to me. So I don't hear anything now. Let's ask it some questions. Hello, is there anybody here with us? Oh, one thing I have to do is make sure that it's not connected to my headset, because I keep my headset on. So let me turn my Bluetooth off for a minute. Okay. Here we go. All right, so now I'll ask you questions. Now the microphone. So let's see. We'll ask you questions. Hello? This is Beth. Is anybody there? I think we're going to have to start over. I don't have a lot of success with the female voice. The male voice seems to work a little bit better. And see if we get anything. Not hearing anything. Hello, this is Beth. Anybody there? Okay, so nothing's coming up. A lot of times it's just this gobbledygook, and there's like unintelligible noise, and you can kind of make out a word. And when I've seen this used on like the different shows, like there'll be something that has a bit of clarity, and they're like, that says yes. And I'm like, I don't know, it could have said, you know, vest. It could have said mess. Like, I mean, you know, I think you determine the clarity. I'm just going to try it one more time to see if it gives us anything. I don't think it's running. We go out of it and go back into it again and see if that makes a difference. So it's the Hope Spirit Box. I don't know. I wasn't all that impressed. I feel like I'm just, I don't know. Is there anybody here with me? Is there a Viking here with me? So as you can see, it's like unintelligible. Like there's nothing, I don't know. I'm not that impressed with it. But when I see it on shows, it's like I think that, you know, we want to hear something, so we make the words. And that doesn't necessarily mean there are words. The last one I'll go over is called GhostTube, and it kind of combines both the video aspect and the last thing that we did, the spirit radio thing. And so when you scan the room, it gives you words and video. Hello, my name is Beth. What's your name? So you hear little noises on it. Is there a Viking here hanging out in Palmerton that wants to talk to me? There's nothing here, but there's nothing in my house. So, maybe these tools work better if you have an environment. So I guess the real key is to go test them somewhere. So I have some friends who are way more, I'm very interested. They're way more expertise than I am in this sort of arena. So I have some other apps too, but these are the ones that I thought I would talk about tonight. So there's all kinds of gadgetry, and as I've said about the witchy community, about the spiritual community, anybody will sell you anything, right? You can get somebody to sell you anything. It's $1 million industry. You can get people to sell you anything. So, do these tools work? I don't know. They don't work in my kitchen, but that doesn't mean they don't work somewhere else. So I'll have to take them out and use them somewhere else. So that's my spiel for tonight. I have other videos to do because this is like the night of videos. So I am wishing you all the best and light and love. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.